Okay, so what I'm about to show you is a continuation of the how several small things have been altered by several small other things to create an entire universe that you see before you that you think is, well, you can feel it. The more you feel it's real, the better it feels, to be honest. But you have like 7 different things. You have like 7 different standard elements. So far, we've only discovered 5 of the elements, but the numbers relate a lot more to something more than 5 generally. So we have metals, we have woods, we have fires, we have, which fire is technically a different form of energy, which plasma might be included in, but I don't know if it is for sure. We have the ether, fire, wood, water, wind, earth, ether. But earth is like more than one element when you really look at it. But I'm going to show you today is how the plants I've shown you before, they all evolve into different things, but the same thing as I show you what they are. Like right here we have something that symbolizes bamboo, but I'm not in China, am I? Am I? I don't know, maybe I'm in China. This looks like bamboo, right? Just then I noticed when I was researching bamboo, because I did that before I actually came out and started seeing bamboo, because I was researching everything. Unfortunately, I can't stop thinking and learning. I try to use drugs to do that. I try to take the blue pill. I literally have blue pills, like from the Matrix and stuff. But you have these bamboo shoots, they're like trees. And this is not in China. This is in Mexico right now, currently, or somewhere like that, right? And it shoots off like a tree, so they call it a tree. I mean, like any other plant, it shoots off like this. It shoots off with your little chlordiden, and then your chlordiden splits, and that's split into 3 chlordidins. It looks like this one splits generally into 3 chlordidin right off the bat, and then a 4th one as well. Only marijuana could split like that. Of course, if marijuana did split like that, you would have too many buds for the sun to frickin' deal with. And this has obviously been very pruned. This has been very pruned. So pruning also affects the growth of the plant and the chlordiden, especially. In fact, it's said that pruning properly, which, I mean, you wouldn't even have to prune properly if you're pruning 7,000 different chlordiden a day, or each pruning session, once a week, once a month, something like that. You wouldn't really have to prove that. It looks like they've really kept care of this, so I would say once a week, but it kind of depends on the soil and the sunlight. I mean, plenty of sunlight eventually. Maybe not enough water and stuff, but it still doesn't end up with a lot of damage. I would call it, this wouldn't be excessive sunlight damage, obviously, because it would be on this side. So I would call that, anything, lack of moisture damage. Although generally that will appear as your yellow here. But the 7 different things, like everything looks the same. And then you hit it with a multiplier. Like you have 7 elements. So you have 7 plants. So you have 7 elements. You have 7 environmental settings. You have humidity, you have sunlight, you have rainfall, you have waste that people throw upon it. Apparently, I'm not sure if that was included into the actual system, but it's definitely, who knows what type of mutated structure you get when people throw their empty syringes, their half-used syringes on something. Kind of tastes like marshmallows. Be honest, yeah, I got to. Kind of tastes like marshmallows. But everything, like, this is called bamboo in China, and it's a bit thicker, and you can tell from the look of it, this is bamboo, right? That's really strong too. That's hard to bend, even though it's like dead and halfway rotting. Let's see if the dead one is. Dead one's a little bit easier to bend. They probably needed pruned anyways, so no problem there. Let's put that down. Now create some nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus within 6 months or so. I don't know, with the lack of rain, maybe things decompose a little slower. Actually, it did kind of taste like marshmallows, though. But you have these different things, and they're all kind of the same thing. Like, this is literally like a taller grass. Like, and bamboo is also considered some sort of tree, but on the opposite spectrum, bamboo is also considered a grass now, isn't it? Isn't that odd that they've already told you this stuff? People like Stan Lee, he's already came out and told you that Venom, Marvel character Venom, is the symbiote. He's the symbol of the mushroom. You just don't know that until you've learned to wrangle and control the mushroom. And there's clovers over here. I wanted to taste the clovers to see if they taste like American clovers, but I'm worried because you can tell by the lower clovers that the dogs and stuff have pissed and defecated on them. But it's all like a replication of something else you've seen before with different variables. You have like the 7 environmental factors. You have like the 7 plants. You have like the 7 species. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm using the word 7 at this point just because they've told me that. And I feel they're probably a little more accurate on the actual numbers and stuff, because my math is limited to one person in 40 years with, like, I don't know, 20 years outside experience and 2 years seeing anything different. But everything's kind of the same. You can see there's clovers down now. I'll be honest, those clovers right there, those are not like in USA we call the clovers sweet tarts because you can eat them and they'll be like sweet and juicy. But here they're not. They're like slightly different. Everything's slightly different because of the 7 by 7 by 7 by 7 by 7 by 7 multiplication factor, which I assume there's going to be 7 things if I just would sit down and write this. But I hate writing. I was so forced at that and good at that as earlier. I hate doing that. I hate writing stuff down. It's just like I'm so over writing and English and all this crap. I was over that when I was like 15. I used to like misspell on purpose just because I just scribble. And hell, when I was like 4, they'd be like, you need to show your work. It's like, oh, I'm just scribbling. Who cares about you? Like, I already know the answer. It's like, I'm just going to show you the answer. And if you don't understand how I figured it out, then you're like 50 years old, bro, or sister, you need to figure it out how I've figured it out, and you haven't figured it out yet, because it's just that easy. But you have like the 7 plants, you have like the 7 earth life forms, you have land life forms, you have like the 7 aquatic life forms, you have like this, they say there's 14 tribes of Israel, right, or 12 tribes of Israel. So you have more than 7 promised human tribes that are on the planet, no matter whose book you go by. And I hate to tell you, I got to go by the people who seem to know the most. So I like to go with their word, even if I like to tell you that their word is wrong and stuff. And then you have, and when you have these conditions, you have like not only like 7, you have like rainfall and sunlight and duration of sunlight and soil nutrients, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorate, and the other 23, 27, who knows how many freaking micronutrients they all have, and then other things. Not only that, when you have these 7 by 7 by 7 by 7 by 7, you have slider scales. So each of the 7 has a slider scale that has how many points on it? We don't know how many points on it. They've probably given us the numbers at one point. and no one's even figured out but the 7x7x7 yet. So I'll have to look at that next, and see if I can find that. I think it's like closer to infinity, considering that everything within this world is still being invented within this world, and only within the confines of this world. And their slider scales during creation and software and stuff like that are all like kind of vast at this point, and they're going to progress a little bit further until the game's fully over, I believe, until the world is fully evolved to every section it has before. So there's small slider scales at this point. Still have like, I don't know, you can have like, I spent 2 hours creating my character in Morrowind, which was like 8 years ago. And then I turned the game off because I was so sick of it. After creating my character, I was just done. It's like, well, this game is no fun. Like, I just spent my entire life creating a character. I'm done with this game. And then you see all this other stuff too, right? Where you see the clones and stuff. And it kind of ties into what I'm talking about, where you might just want to hit a random button rather than actually customize your character and make it look like a space mutant or whatever. Which you couldn't do, or a lot of people would have space mutant characters within the Morrowind series, I'm sure. But the 7x7x7, it's a good rule to start by. And then you put a slider scale. They can be like 100, 1,000, 10,000 different variations of how much light, of how much water, of how much rainfall, of how much moist humidity in the air, relative humidity in the air, because maybe both those are different factors. Again, there's probably like 7 different types of humidity, and we've only figured out 2, humidity and relative humidity. There's ocean humidity, relative humidity, and desert, and 0, 100%, and everything in between. Normal people don't even know that there's 2 different types of humidity, relative and actual attempted to be measured humidity. So you have like all these things that factor in each other, and you just create a world like this, like nothing, if you just design software that can replicate and multiply this really fast. I mean, it's really basic stuff at the end of the day. You don't need software to do it. I don't believe you need software to do it. You just need a few days to have a thought, which is weird because they say that the Lord creator was Yahweh, and Yahweh, or the name we cannot speak because we don't understand it yet, or the name we cannot speak, I personally think, because you're not allowed to frickin' speak it because he doesn't want to be pointed out. And they did come to me once and say, if you control this world, you don't want to be known who you are. And that had like so many different parable levels of meaning. I don't even think I could understand them all. I'll be looking back on that in years and still trying to understand that, I think. But I did ask them more correctly, and they laughed at me for that. It was like a smirk laugh too. So I had to ask, like, what are you talking about, me? And everything here's more grass, right? Like I thought this was like fake grass by how it's feel, but I don't think it is because I've felt it, and I've put my cigarettes out on it, and it has not burned. And plastic grass, like turf grass, will catch on fire. So it looks like the same grass, but it's a different grass. This looks like the same shrub, but it's a different shrub. You got bamboo sticks sticking up from it. It looks like bamboo, but it's a different bamboo. That doesn't look like bamboo, does it? Bamboo is generally trees with small leaves upon it. And so we have everything being affected by a multiplier of something else. This multiplier, that multiplier, that multiplier, that multiplier. And then you can literally create this all in you can create the plants all in one day within a computer system if you know how to do this. If you know how to generate everything and create the correct multiplication system in there. Even if you don't, like what you'll end up with is mutations. It's like, what the hell is this? It died. It fell off. You end up with people who don't look like every other person. It's called a mutation. So even if you don't create the software correctly within the first day, the software can still design everything around you. And this is what I'm beginning to see here, is that this world could be created in several days. It doesn't require the billions of years we've been told it's created. Even pre-religious or pre-knowledge days, I don't think I think especially those days, it does not require billions of days, because those first days of creations were creating huge monsters, or what we call monsters because we're little pansies who we're little supremacists who see everyone and everything that doesn't look like us as monsters. Dinosaurs and stuff like that. Like, if that existed, which, I mean, that's a whole nother argument. Let's stay within the game's framework here. That stuff could have been created in several days. There's only so many dinosaurs. And then there's only so many natural disasters that could have happened, and so many changes to the Earth's shape that could have happened before that. That could have been created faster than the last 20, 40 years on the planet, where humans have supposedly invented these smartphones. They're so smart, and the internet, it's so smart, and then telephones, it's so capable, and the cars, they get you around place to place, they're so good, and stuff like that. Like we look at, we're the best in the world, right? And it's like, look what paves the way for us. Each time, it's only actually small things that advance us so far, supposedly, according to the story. So the whole story, the whole system could have been written in several days. And that's I never come out and claim to be a Christian or a Catholic or a Mormon or a Muslim or anything like that. But in fact, I used to laugh at that, and I still laugh at whatever. I used to laugh at that stuff, but these days, I like to point out that some of the stuff I used to laugh at was a joke. How could you create this world in 7 days? Well, I'm showing you exactly how. And if you understand the software terminology and stuff like that, and what I'm showing you, if you could put together all my videos, which I'm not going to do for you because there's things going on in my life that are different than other things. I have to worry about when I need to puke next, not when I need to frickin' make another video and stuff. But you see the 7 different things. And you can even see they try to show you layers. Layers show you that the world is older, and it's like, well, layers don't show you the world is older. Layers show you a development in the world, and in fact, the layers in their steady formation to me kind of show me that that's strictly game formulated, because it's not wavy, and the formulations over here should be wavy. If they're naturally devised over billions of years, they shouldn't be so strict, sedimentally layer, although this does happen when we mix Kool-Aid, sugar, and water. We can see when we mix more Kool-Aid and sugar, then the water will absorb. The Kool-Aid and the water will settle differently, blah, blah, blah. But to me personally, when I see stuff like this over here, I think of how the game has been rushed at the very end stages because they expect no one to really get that far in understanding and stuff like that. Or when they expect someone to get that far, they're going to crown them as king of the world and the champion of the game. And they understand what's going on. So, I don't necessarily mean to toot my own horn there, but it's very odd that ends up being a circle when I look at it like that. It always does, though, for me, even when it really is. But yeah, I figure there's a 777. There's a 7 base creations of plant life. There's a 7 base creation of sea life. There's a 7 base creation of human life, or so the Jewish say. There's 12 tribes of Israel, which I've always believed that when they say 12 tribes of Israel, there has been 12 separate human races invented, and that means at this point we're down to about 7 or 8, and we killed off about 4 of those creations. Yay us. And then there's 7. They say there's 5 elements, earth, wind, water, fire, ether, and but they also say at the same time, there's people who know more than almost anyone. They say there's the number 7 is the lucky number, and 5 doesn't sound right because it's a very low number. So maybe there's divisions. There's definitely divisions into earth, wind, water, fire, and ether. And I don't know about ether for sure. I don't know how to measure that, but in the water you have rainfall, you have humidity, and who knows what else. In sunlight you have duration and you have intensity. And I'm sure like any of you guys could come up with the rest of this if you if you have your own thoughts and have seen any of this stuff. I didn't have to really understand what I was talking about to begin seeing this stuff, so you don't necessarily have to either. You could be having a thought that none of us understands, and that could be knowledge given to you, which I thought a long time ago, that different people are being handed different knowledge. And that's one reason why I traveled, was to take different knowledge from different people I've never met and stuff like that. But we are going to get out of here, shut this video off. This is the second time I've done this, 21 minutes. Hopefully it hasn't ended yet. And you see this is like bamboo, right? Let's end it on what you can see. Bamboo. Looks like bamboo leaves, except for it's so tight. It's like a bush, which we have bushes in the North American deciduous temperature climate, and we don't have the bamboo. So here we are, pretty much at the we're close to the equator climate, but we are not at the equatorial climate. So we have the mixture of the in between. And I assume what I would reach if I go to Asia, where there is bamboo, is we're going to have less sunlight, we're going to have less heat, but we're going to have whatever it is condition here that creates the bamboo. Maybe less water, because they're hollow in the middle, so and they feel crunchy and hard. So I suppose maybe it's like less water, or it's seawater, which might provide less water, and salt water might provide a nutrient lockout, which would be a pH imbalance of all the nutrients on the planet. But again, we're getting into these little minor multiplication factors where you have 8 or 9 minor multiplication factors that can be multiplied by each other. You have 9 times 9, so you have 81. And then you have a slider scale for each division of that without going into subdivisions. And the slider scale can have like 10,000, 100,000 different positions and create the entire illusion that 999 million different plants exist. And then you can go into subdivisions and debating what I'm talking about and just how much more there is to this world than what I've actually seen myself.